Hey, yo, watch it flow. It's time for the Romeo Show. If you know, you know. What's going on? What's popping? Massive Game 5 today. Couple of big Game 5s today. We ain't gonna lie. Denver, Portland. Ooh. The Lakers without Anthony Davis. Will he ever come back? I guess it depends on how long they're going to be in this thing. Vintage LeBron tonight, question mark? Do we see the vintage LeBron of, okay, I have to go score 40. I have to go get 13 rebounds because nobody out here is about a rebound. And hey, if my teammates are feeling like making shots, I'll put up 9 assists. If KCP, who seems to now be back, can knock down some threes, KCP, it's bad when KCP is the best shooter on your team, but that's been the way it's been all season long for this Lakers team. We're here. We're ready to go. We're ready to rock and roll. How you doing? Like the shirt. It's popping. Thanks. Literally just picked it up. Just added 2 to 3 more shirts. The funny thing is a lot of the shirts I wear on camera, I don't wear anywhere else. This one will be somewhere I wear somewhere else. Not because I don't like them. They got a different vibe. I'm getting them literally to pop on camera. This one I actually do like. I could wear this out. And also there's like a couple of shirts that I put them in the dryer, and that's like rule number 1 of adulthood, not to do that for a lot of clothes, and they fit perfect when they're not shrunk, right? when you don't dry them, then they shrink to shit. So it doesn't matter though from here, as long as my belly button, as long as we don't got the tube top going. But in real life, I mean, I'm not going to wear these 2 sizes too small. LaFlop will go off today, somebody says. A lot of studs today. A lot of studs on this slate. So, yeah, we can talk props. We can talk game lines, even if you'd like, on this 3-game slate. We got some 4-game slates coming up for the next couple of days, so we like that. Yeah, a lot of studs. I mean, James Harden, Nikola Jokic, Kevin Durant, LeBron with no AD, Tatum with nobody on his goddamn team today, Damian Lillard, Kyrie. I mean, it's clearly the postseason, but we are just at and good value. I mean, I don't know if like the rest of the industry and whoever like the industry leaders that have a lot of people subscribe to their sites are just not projecting out well Peyton Pritchard and Marc Gasol today. I don't know. I really couldn't tell you what's going on there. I don't know if like these people who maybe have like thousands of subscribers to their websites, if that's even a realistic number in the DFS space. It seems like it is for us having like 400, 500 patrons, just as a smaller online store, if you will, company, creator. But I don't know if those sites that influence the market more are playing it quote unquote safe and just trying to put a safe projection to make everybody happy and not try and go. I don't know. I'm just projecting straight up today. And Peyton Pritchard and Marc Gasol, they don't look like slam dunks. They're projected for around 19 fantasy points, but they're on a 3-game slate in the low 3K range. I would start Marc Gasol today. I would expect them to start Marc Gasol today. We'll see what happens. I would also start Peyton Pritchard today. I get why he's not starting. Get something off the second unit because Romeo Langford stinks. There's no Kemba Walker. There's no Jaylen Brown. Now there's no Robert Williams on the second unit. You need something on the second unit if you're Boston today. Something that can manufacture some sort of scoring because there's not much left. Aaron Naismith ain't it. They're not playing anybody else. Semi Ojeley's ain't it. Grant Williams, not it. So I get why Peyton Pritchard, but that's why you like Peyton Pritchard. He might play less minutes, 3, 4, 5, 6 less minutes, but his usage, his production, he's going to get a lot of his minutes in the 6 to 8 minutes when Tatum doesn't play. He'll play, right? Is Trez worth a flyer today? If Montrezl Harrell starts, he's worth a flyer. If he doesn't start, I would expect him to play 0 more minutes more times than he plays 16 plus. So I'm expecting Gasol to start. He makes way more sense. Gasol stretches the floor. He plays some defense. Harrell doesn't stretch the floor, doesn't play defense. So I would expect, especially in a game like today where there's no Anthony Davis and LeBron should say, I need to take over and drive as much as I fucking can against DeAndre Ayton, against Cam Johnson and Jay Crowder, who Crowder maybe is like the only competition for him, right? You want guys to when LeBron's going in there and they don't clear the paint, they don't go ISO, he can kick it out. And having Marc Gasol to kick it out to is an actual viable option from 3 compared to Harrell. So I expect Marc Gasol to start. I expect Gasol, who I currently have right now at around 24 minutes of play, to be a slam dunk value play given the context of the slate. Not slam dunk in terms of he's going to work out 100% of the time, but on a 3-game slate at that cheap of a price point, playing center, stretch center, right? 24 minutes plus seems like a slam dunk value. Kuzma's going to start most likely. So you think that they're going to start Drummond potentially? Yeah. I mean, if this was the regular season, yeah, the lineup would be Kuzma at the 4, Drummond at the 5. I think it makes a lot more sense to start Marc Gasol at the 5 and Drummond not start. And also, then Harrell doesn't see the court probably because there's not much that he can offer that Drummond can't offer off the bench. What do you think about LeBron today? Looks good. Yeah. LeBron I projected for 51.7 points, and believe it or not, he's only my 5th highest projected player. So right now, over LeBron James, I would prefer Damian Lillard, Jason Tatum, Nikola Jokic. And then it's a coin flip between him and Durant, depending on what the price point is. So LeBron looks fine. LeBron, factoring in ownership, factoring in everything that I like, give me Damian Lillard over him. Give me Durant, who's coming in right now at like 10% less ownership over him. And then between him and Tatum, it's kind of a coin flip, whichever one you like more. I expect Tatum to be the highest home play in the slate today. But yeah, everybody's thinking it's going to be vintage LeBron, and that's completely fine. Vintage LeBron today for 55 fantasy points at 9,800, even 5,860 is really good. But it's not vintage LeBron on a slate where there's not 6-7 other dudes who are probably going to score 50-plus fantasy points. Like, there's going to be a lot of scoring today. Actual viable value plays, loads of guys underpriced that have the ability to score 60-plus. Harden, Jokic, Durant, Tatum, Lillard. Throw Kyrie and Booker into that, right? That's 7 guys right there that are projecting out at 50-plus or damn near close to it today. Like I've got 6 guys projecting for 50-plus points today. So it makes it a little bit harder to go to LeBron. Completely fine, though. I just prefer guys who are going to be a little bit less owned. Sal, your breakdown is insane. I love it, says Tori J. I appreciate that, man. Yeah. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Thank you. Yeah, we can't do these types of like long form. We could, but they just want to make too much sense. It's a lot more work on me. One, the videos are longer in the morning, then editing them is longer, processing them, getting them up is longer. For a video that only lasts a couple hours till the game start, I'd rather be the quick hitting stuff in the mornings, and then that's what this is for. We can actually go down into it. Boston versus Brooklyn. Sal, can you give me the 3 hot picks, the best plays, captain mode? Boston versus Brooklyn today. You're not going to like my 3 favorite because they're not going to all fit into your lineup. Harden, Durant, and Tatum. Those are my 3 favorite. If we factor in price, let me pull it up for you. Let's pull it up for you, my man. So right now from that game, if we factor in price, Peyton Pritchard, Jason Tatum, and Marcus Smart would be my favorite options. The favorite guy from Brooklyn would be Durant if you just wanted to get a Brooklyn guy in there. My man, Edgar be asking me. Pritchard will start at Smart at shooting guard. I don't know what that means. At Smart at shooting guard. For Smart, did Marcus Smart get ruled out for some reason? Also, the fact that Marcus Smart probably isn't going to be a Boston Celtic after this year is very sad. Very sad if that's actually going to end up being the case. Marcus Smart's playing. Kemba Walker is out. Last game, Romeo Langford started. It makes more sense to have Romeo Langford come off the bench. You don't play your best 5 players in the starting lineup. That's not how you do this. If you have depth, you do. You play your best 5 players if you have depth. And if they obviously all spread the floor correctly, that was some of the issues with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. Concerns on them spreading the floor because neither of them really shoot. And then Joel started to develop somewhat of a 3-point shot, but they kind of worked around it by getting Seth Curry and Danny Green to be the spacers, right? So that helped that out this year a little bit when Josh Richardson wasn't doing that last year. But when you don't have depth, you stagger guys. Kawhi and Paul George are staggered a lot because their bench units suck. You can't just get outscored dramatically when your bench unit's out there. So I think Payne Pritchard probably comes off the bench again. But wouldn't be that. Smart will start at shooting guard and Pritchard will start at point, potentially. But I think it makes a lot more sense. Last game, Pritchard didn't start, and that was the correct move for a playoff basketball game. Romeo Langford started because he stinks. Just bury him with the starters so he doesn't have to be out there. When your starters come out, Payne Pritchard can at least kind of take over for something. Thank you, no problem. Harden or Jokic for you today? I will take Jokic there. Can you play JaMychal Green and Millsap together? I will not be unless you're playing on like a captain mode. I probably wouldn't be doing that. I'll pull up the minutes right now. We're talking about some of these teams. Let me pull up Boston's minutes since we're talking about them a good amount. Do you still like Gasol and Pritchard if they don't start? I'm not expecting Pritchard to start, so yes, I'm projecting him not to start. I'm also not expecting. I personally would start Gasol. I think they should start Gasol. I can see why they would start Kuzma at the 4 and Drummond at the 5. I think it's the completely wrong answer. I think that's possibly one of the worst lineups they can put out outside of Harrell at the 5 to start. Because Kuzma offers you nothing. Nothing from spacing. Nothing from defense. Drummond offers you nothing from spacing. Barely anything from defense. Like defensive rebounding is not playing actual defense, right? So that's bad. At least Marc Gasol offers you something. Put LeBron at the 4. Put KCP, now that he's healthy, in the starting lineup, obviously, again. and play it that way. Play a little bit smaller. And you can get away with playing smaller against Phoenix. Like McCall Bridges is a 3. He's not like a big dominating 3. Jay Crowder at the 4. If anything's an undersized 4, right? More so a small forward. So, yeah, I think you can get away with playing a little bit smaller. That's what I personally would do. I think that's the correct thing to do today, especially the way that they're going to try and play is through LeBron James, and kicking it out is probably the best way to go. But, yeah, if Marc Gasol doesn't start, I'd still be interested. Because, I mean, he hasn't been starting lately, and he's still creeping up around 20 minutes of play. But right now, I like Pritchard over Gasol either way, and that's what the expectation that he comes off the bench. What's your minutes projections on Bruce Brown? Boston's minutes are on the screen right now. I have Bruce Brown for 22 minutes, barely in a player pool, but not that great. Salvatore, your stripes are giving me acid flashbacks. Can you please give me some winning prize picks tonight to bring me back down to earth? So, yeah, the prize picks that I ended up placing this morning from the fantasy points perspective are still the ones that I like the most. I actually haven't even looked at props, so we can start to look at some props. If you have specific questions on players, props over on Prize Picks, the sponsor of the program today, you can sign up down below. Use the code SAL, S-A-L. They'll double your money up to $100 Rooskies. So you can check that out if you want to. But there's probably still the same ones, but I also haven't looked at, admittedly, any of the single stat stuff, just literally running around. Mondays are like the busiest days today's Tuesday, but I keep thinking it's Monday because of the holiday yesterday. So first day of the quote-unquote work week is like the busiest days because business-wise, a lot of people get back to me from emails that I need to work on some stuff for a website. And then obviously it's the beginning of the week with golf and just starting up doing NFL stuff. So placing props was not on the agenda today. But the ones that we ended up placing this morning were the ones that I enjoyed the most. And Joe Harris was one that we really liked. Was one of the ones we really liked. He's up from 21 to 22.5 now. I probably wouldn't be taking the Joe Harris one now. A lot of guys came up. So if you're somebody who likes to take the unders, a lot of guys came up. So let's go to Kyle Kuzma. Kyle Kuzma, chance that he doesn't even start today. His prop opened at 25. It's now at 23. I like the under at 25. I have him for 20. I still like the under on 23. I like all the unders today on Kyle Kuzma's points and fantasy points. Tatum going to set records again tonight. Yeah, I don't doubt it. Look, there's a lot of guys in similar spots. Tatum a better shooter than LeBron. Tatum in a spot. Just do everything you want out here. No Kemba, no Brown, no Robert Williams. Do everything you want out here. LeBron, do everything you want out here. The most pivotal game in a series. Like, the only difference between LeBron and Tatum today, I think Tatum individually is in a better position to just soak up usage. But the only difference is LeBron's in a pivotal game 5. Like, go down 3-2 without Anthony Davis the rest of the series, you're fucked. You're probably fucked, right? This is a massive game. Tatum, they're down 3-1. They're not expected to win. Even if they somehow pull this one out, they're probably not coming back from a 3-0 deficit, right? And winning 4 in a row and kind of sweeping it in that way. So, like, actual motivation-wise, like, you might see a different level of LeBron, especially in the fourth quarter. How do you feel about Kuzma at $13 on Yahoo? I personally don't play on Yahoo, so I played on Yahoo for like 3 to 6 months when they first had really nice contests and Rake and they were promoting it. I probably closer to like 2 or 3 months, honestly. I don't even know what the value is over there. I can tell you I don't like Kuzma on DraftKings in the props market, so odds are I don't like him there. What about Jabari Parker? Rebounds, points could be a big favorite factor for the second team. I have Jabari Parker. I have him for about 15.5 fantasy points today. Jabari Parker I actually like. It's just how many minutes does he get? They had Grant Williams out there for defensive purposes to an extent in that last game, and he actually played pretty well. So that can be like a limiting effect for Jabari. Tatum or LeBron today? That's the question of the day, right? That's kind of the question of the day. They're both going to be highly owned. Right now, I currently have Tatum as my number 7 overall play in the day, and LeBron James as my number 11. I have LeBron for 51.7 fantasy points at 9,800, and Tatum at 53. I'll take Tatum. Both look great. Give me Tatum. Millsap and Griffin over on Prize Picks. Millsap and Griffin over on Prize Picks from a fantasy point perspective. Millsap I have at 15 minutes today, which doesn't feel great. Millsap is at 13 fantasy points. I have Millsap on Prize Picks. I have Millsap projected for 14.8. That's a no bet for me. And then you said Blake Griffin, right? Griffin's at 13.5 from a fantasy score. That seems extremely low. I have Blake Griffin at 19.72. So the over on Blake Griffin seems like the way to go there. 13.5. That seems crazy. What up, Sal? Who's winning the Memorial this weekend? Says Jay Money. I just projected out the Memorial today. I don't have any bets, and I'm going to place bets tomorrow, so I might actually get not as great numbers as I wanted. But I just projected out the Memorial today. I have to wait on ownership to get a better lean on it. Who's winning the Memorial this weekend? I mean, when you say who's winning versus who's value, like the who's winning is just like always take, like Justin Thomas is just like always at good odds, right? He hasn't won in a little while, literally a little while. John Rahm hasn't won in even more while, right? I believe literally this time last year. So I would say one of those guys, if you're just asking me straight up who's going to win. If you want to start to say where the value odds at, that's a little bit of a different story. Is Tatum a must for today? No, he's not a must. No, there's 6-7 dudes that are studs in the slate projecting out for similar or more fantasy points than Tatum. So yeah, he's not a must. He's also going to be the highest one guy in the slate. Marc Gasol or Tristan Thompson today. If you need the value, Marc Gasol. Look, they're totally different players today. Like the question is not Marc Gasol or Tristan Thompson. They're over a $2,000 price difference. The question is Tristan Thompson and this guy or Marc Gasol and this guy. So who is that and this guy? Because you got to be doing something with the 2,000. Tristan Thompson is going to project out for more fantasy points than Marc Gasol. I got him for about 7 more, but it's obviously there's a pricing play in there, right? Now they won't start Drummond and Gasol. I don't think they're going to start Drummond and Gasol. Correct. Yes. When I say they should start and it would be better for them to start Gasol, I'm saying over Drummond. Put LeBron to the 4. Schroeder, KCP. Get some shooters on the floor. I mean, hell, Ben McLemore would be a better fucking start at this point than like Kyle Kuzma or Drummond. And you might be literally sitting there laughing. And I understand why, because Ben McLemore is a fucking walking door in defense. But he can at least shoot the ball. Like, they have no shooters on this fucking team. And today, you're going to see today LeBron James drive. Either finish, go to the line, finish, miss, finish, make, or the one that's going to happen a lot today, kick out. And the game is going to be dictated today on how many threes KCP can make, how many threes Schroeder can make, which is a challenge, how many threes Caruso can make, who played very good defense on Booker that last game. I expect him to be on the court a good amount more. So, yes. LeBron James, Tatum, Jokic, pick 2, GPP single entry. Give me Tatum and Jokic. Ainge needs to make some moves. Yeah, they're done. Love Prashad, but only gets playing time when Walker is out. Walker is out today, so there you go. Who starts for AD tonight? Yeah, some people, I think the chalk regular season answer, the answer that a lot of people are going to expect today is Kuzma and Drummond. I would start Gasol. I think that gives them a better chance to win this game. What national calendar days are we celebrating today? Yeah, today is National Say Something Nice Day. So you can get up in here and say something nice if you want. That's just one of the days. There's a lot of calendar days today. I'll pull up the rest. Tatum dropping 80 real points today. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. I mean, yeah, last game was a JT game. I don't know if that'll happen again. National Barefoot Day. Let them feed out. World Reef Awareness Day. Not too sure. National Olive Day. Fucking love olives out here in the Italian land. National Nail Polish Day. All right. Pen Pal Day. Hazelnut Cake Day. Yeah, National Say Something Nice Day is probably the best part of that. Barefoot Day, I celebrate that for show. Joe Harris or Monty Morris? Give me Joe Harris. Joe Harris is going to play 10 more minutes than Monty Morris. Joe Harris is going to close out games, and Monty Morris maybe closes out games. We've seen him close some out when they need offense. We've seen him not close some out. Thoughts on Chris Paul tonight? Yeah, Chris Paul, he had the decent game 3 or game 4, as good as you can have. He's clearly playing injured. Chris Paul right now for me projects out for, he's in a player pool. He's not a good play. So that's where Chris Paul is at. On the 3-game slate, he's my number 18 overall play. He's not a yes. I have a lot of yeses today. Also, best day of the entire month for your budget reasons and just in general. Best day to sign up for Patreon is literally right now. So if you want to sign up for Patreon, take advantage of the lineup optimizer, which we can pull up right now. This is what I ran earlier. We don't have any news. So this is what I ran earlier. This was the top projected lineup, but I also have some groups in. So like this isn't going to be like just straight up. Like this is for GPPs. As of right now, this is obviously going to change from a lot of different factors. A lot of different factors will end up changing this one. We can look at the exposures momentarily as well. Will Porter finally not suck? Yeah, maybe. He's still very cheap. JT and Rom are good options. I like Reed and Hovland's chances too. I mean, Hovland's like the chalk pick, right? Hovland's going to be like fucking 40% on the DFS streets. What is your LeBron fantasy points today? I have LeBron for 51.7 fantasy points. Would you play Ayton and Nurkic or pay up for Jokic today? It really depends on the rest of the lineup. Like, just asking if I want to pay, like, the centers, all those guys are decent salaries. Obviously, Jokic. My centers today rank out as Jokic, Ayton, Gasol, and Nurkic in that order. So, take that as you will. But it really depends on the rest of your lineup. Like, if you're not playing Gasol today, what are you doing with the rest of that money? Or if you're playing on the opposite end, Jokic today, what is that not allowing you to get at a different position? Because center today, as much as I like Jokic and want to play him and think that he's probably the best pay-up option on the entire slate today, it is a position that is loaded. Marc Gasol for value. Ayton and Nurkic look fantastic at their relatively cheap price points. I would consider them cheap price points. So it is a loaded spot. Let's look at the exposures. I'm just curious what things are looking like early on. So those are what things are looking like early on. If you're wondering where Marc Gasol is, 27% right there. So you can see all these centers are getting a good amount of exposure. Nurkic, 26 early on. Gasol, 27, 8 and 30. But Jokic at 38. That's interesting. Pritchard, obviously the value I'm going to. I like this play a lot in Lillard. I mean, if you guys are checking it out, if you watched the video this morning, you already know this. But Lillard today, he'll be owned. But you're going to have Tatum be higher owned, Jokic, LeBron, probably a Devin Booker, maybe a James Harden. Like, Lillard on a 3-game slate is going to be like the 10th highest owned guy today, 25%. They're literally playing a 7-man rotation. Like, yes, I know there's 8 or 9 bodies on the court, but Cantor playing 0 to 4 minutes, Hollis Jefferson playing 8 minutes is not really affecting much. For the most part, they're playing like a 7-man rotation out there. And Lillard is just, I mean, my God, pivotal game for them as well. Lillard is just a stud of a play today. And he's not going to be as owned because there is the LeBron James effect of being right there in the price point. Lillard's a little bit cheaper, basically being right there in the price point. A bunch of other guys like Tatum, obviously Harden, things like that as well. Thoughts on Cam Johnson? I'm not there. Marc Gasol or Tristan Thompson today? Yeah, it depends on who your other guy is in your lineup. Tristan Thompson, under 10.5 for rebounds, question mark. Let me check on that one for you. Also, yeah, if you're watching this right now, the Blake Griffin prop, he played less minutes in that last game. Would not be shocked if he played less again with less big men out there and more Tristan Thompson out there, less Robert Williams out there. And Tristan Thompson can just bully around Blake Griffin on an offensive and defensive rebound end. But that 13.5 fantasy points on Prize Picks, I would take the over in the prop market on that. Right now, Tristan Thompson over under 10.5 rebounds. I would take the under. I'm surprised you found a 10.5 out there. I'm seeing like all 10s or 9.5s in the marketplace. So I would take the under 10.5 if that's on Prize Picks for sure. For show in the market. That's good. Thoughts on Caruso? So Caruso's in a player pool for me. I'm going to be probably projecting Caruso for a lot more than the industry is today, minutes-wise. Caruso did something that not a lot of people can do. He locked the fuck down out of Devin Booker. In the fourth quarter, crunch time, Caruso locked down Devin Booker. And he's got that in his game. Caruso for me at $3,600. If you don't feel comfortable playing Gasol, if for some reason you don't want to play Pritchard, which I understand why, right? He's probably going to come off the bench. He's not fully secure for minutes. Although they have fucking Kemba Walker out, so he probably is. I've got Alex Caruso at 18.9 minutes. I've got Alex Caruso at a good amount, or 18.9 fantasy points, and I got him at a good amount of minutes. Caruso or KCP today? Yeah, people aren't going to like my answer to this, but it's probably Caruso. So KCP is the guy who can get. I have Caruso for about a point more. KCP is obviously $200 more expensive. He's obviously the guy who's more secure minutes out there. I'll put it this way: if you're looking for the safe play, you play KCP. And that's not even that safe because he's coming back from injury. But he's going to have a lot of 3 attempts today, a good amount. He's going to get all the opportunity in the world today to get his 30 to 34 minutes of play. But yeah, he's the best shooter on this team. But Caruso is going to play more minutes. I've got Caruso at 28 minutes today. Not only because Anthony Davis is out and they're going to probably run some smaller lineups, but he showed that he can lock down Devin Booker. And it's like a business, profit and loss. If you're not having too much revenue come in and you still want to make a profit, well, limit your expenses. And in this case, if you don't think you're going to score as many points without Anthony Davis out there, well, try and limit as much as you can, which is tough without Anthony Davis out there, the points your opponents score. And Alex Caruso was able to do that in a rather impressive way the other night. Chris Paul or Booker? Booker. LeBron under 8 assists today. LeBron James under 8 assists today. Yes, I would like that one. I wouldn't feel comfortable about that one, though. I mean, at the end of the day, the LeBron James over under assists, I would not. So what my projections are saying is that's a fine under. But what the projections cannot take into account, they can take into account Anthony Davis not being out there, but they can't really take into account Game 5 of a playoff series and how much of a pivotal spot that this is. So not just for LeBron, but everybody, right? And that is a very fickle and insensitive thing to be betting on today, because there is going to be a lot of potential assists out there for LeBron James today. So let me put it this way. Taking an under on LeBron James assist prop today is sketchy, even though it looks good. Under 8.5 looks good. I'm seeing only 8s and 7.5s out there, so it's bet down a lot of other spots. It looks good, right? But you are betting on 6 dudes on that team not being able to knock down threes, right? Because LeBron's going to have a lot of potential assists today. I mean, they're going to fucking clear into the paint when LeBron's going down there in the third and fourth quarter, especially the fourth quarter. He's going to kick it out in the fourth quarter like 4 to 5 times. Are you confident that those guys are going to miss most of those shots, right? Which you should be based on how bad they are at shooting right now. So that's why that number is so low. If LeBron had a Danny Green still or a Seth Curry still, that number would be 10 or 10.5 today because those guys will actually hit those shots, right? Caruso or Jabari Parker? I'll take Caruso. Would you stack Tatum and Harden single entry 500 max people today? I mean, yeah, but that's probably like the two highest owned guys in the slate. Harden might not be the like two of the top 5 highest. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, right? So, I mean, that's just two guys into your lineup. It's fine. Like, any combination of the studs today that you ask me, I'm going to say it's fine. It really depends on the rest of your lineup. Like, all the studs look good. All the guys up there in that price point look great today. Let me see these salaries, right? I have yeses on Harden, Jokic, Durant, Tatum, LeBron, Lillard, right? And then it starts to come down to what is your total lineup ownership. If you're going to play Harden and Tatum or Tatum and LeBron, that's completely fine. Where are you getting different? And right now, it just seems easy to get there. Like, nobody wants to own Peyton Pritchard and nobody wants to own Marcus Gasol. And I understand why. I understand why, but I'm probably going to play him. I'm going to play one of those guys at least today. And then that kind of lets me play the chalk up top if I want to. Like, I'm looking at Tatum right now. I'd take Tatum over LeBron. You can play them both because Gasol's going to be like 14% owned. Top 3 value plays today. Peyton Pritchard. So value based on where my model is, top like 8 plays, we can pull those up too. But if you're talking about cheap options, Peyton Pritchard, Marcus Gasol, and Robert Covington. I think Caruso is also a decent option, just not as secure on him. But I'll pull back up the top 6 plays from this morning. There they are on the screen. Let me make sure those are still the same 6 guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those are still the same 6 guys. I haven't changed anything in the projections. So these are my top 6 yeses on the slate right now today. Obviously not for fantasy points, but factoring in the price point. Chris Paul, 1 3-pointer. I don't have any way to let you know about 3-pointers. I don't think there's a proper way to really... You can try to project for them. There's a math way to do it, but it is obviously very, very random because you don't play the exact same team every single day. Obviously in the playoffs you do, but there's not a large enough sample of how different teams defend the 3-point line. Trying to project 3-pointers is a weird thing because I can project them, and if a guy's over-under on a 3-pointer is 0.5, the projection might say 0.6. It might say 0.8. What does that mean to you? It means that it's over, but it's still not projecting him to make a full 3. So, like, and that's with the most part because guys don't make 10 threes in a game. They make 0 to 3 most of the time at most, right? For most players, not named Steph Curry, James Harden, right? So, yeah, trying to, like, take the over-under on threes, unless there's a promotion, I personally don't think it's the greatest idea. Millsap or JaMychal Green for value. JaMychal Green, I think he plays more minutes if you had to pick one. Whose projected ownership is higher, Harden or Jokic? Just expect them both to be right at 30%. I would expect Jokic's to be higher today, but expect them both to be around 30%. KD and Tatum can't guard each other, so they'll just go back and forth. Yeah, I think KD and Tatum is a fantastic way to start a lot of lineups today. I mean, KD, what have we been saying the last 3 to 4 times we've done a stream with KD on it? Well, KD looks like the leverage play today. Now, KD's finally coming up in price. He's $1,000 more than basically when he started the series, $900 more. He's also coming up in ownership finally, but KD's going to be the lowest owned guy out of all those guys that we've talked about so far. Out of all those studs up there, Lillard, Booker, LeBron, Tatum, Harden, right? He'll be the lowest one of all those guys. So once again, KD will be the lowest owned stud, which once again means that he's a leverage play. Is he the best leverage play on the slate? Out of the studs, yeah, because he's just the lowest owned, right? Best leverage play on the slate, though, I don't know. I think that's where the value guys can start to come into play. I think that Dennis Schroeder could be a really good value play today. But I think that's where the Peyton Pritchards and Marcus Gasols, because it's so easy for them to be leveraged at their ownership. I mean, Peyton Pritchard goes out there, plays half decent for 24 minutes, and he's got 23 fantasy points at that cheap of a price point, which is not even that hard to do. There's not that much other guys out there. Like Tatum, sure, going to soak up a lot of usage. Marcus Smart's not known for soaking up usage. Evan Fournier is not known for soaking up massive usage. I mean, 20% maybe. Who's your 3 highest fantasy point projections today? My 3 highest projected guys are Jokic, Tatum, and Durant right now, which is another reason why Durant looks pretty damn good. 80 is definitely out, right? I don't think they've come out and said it yet. Like, they've ruled out Kemba and Robert Williams, but I would say from all the medical reports that I've read is that there is basically no chance AD plays today. And if he does suit up and play, I would expect him to be more so a decoy than anything else. Hey, Sal, what about Gordon today? Yeah, Aaron, all these guys on Denver today are just in a player pool. If your name on Denver today, let's see. I'll pull up these Denver minutes. If you're on Denver today and you're not named Nikola Jokic, I probably have slight interest in you, which means that if I have a certain amount of salary left over and you're right there and you're my only option, I'll probably play you. Monty Morris is like the only other guy who looks a little bit better, and that's just because he has closing upside. But like Michael Porter, Campazzo. And Michael Porter hasn't done shit in this series, but because of that, you'll see a little bit lower ownership on Michael Porter today. Nothing major. Like, you're not going to get... Like, if Michael Porter was going to be 12% owned today, I would say, okay, the leverage play in the slate. But he's going to be like 25% still because he's too cheap. But Porter, Campazzo, Gordon, Rivers, like all the Millsap and Green, like all these guys, if I somehow have your exact salary left and you're like the only option, I'll play you. That's kind of like what that means. Because you're not getting the greatest leverage or upside on most of these guys. It's Tristan Thompson, a good choice, decent. The way that team plays, especially like you saw in that last game, Tristan Thompson didn't play any of the fourth quarter, didn't close out the game, didn't play much of the third quarter. He's just not the best. He's good to have on the court early on, but he's not the best option for you in closing run or when you're trying to play fast and just score, right? Sal, can you go over the prize picks board, please? Yeah, we've been going over it. Anytime somebody asks about a prop, that's basically coming from prize picks. If you have a specific question, you could let me know, though. You playing SuperDraft today? I don't have anything in for SuperDraft, but I saw the contests are now back up to 2,000, which is nice. Yo, Sal, hope you had a nice long weekend. I did. If I'm looking to play some double ups on SuperDraft, got any names I should start my builds around today? Yeah, James Harden is... there's a couple of elite plays on SuperDraft today. SuperDraft is free money right now. Like, $2,000 the first, and those contests are filling at like 50 to 60%. The big one with $2,000 first might fill like 80, 90%, but all the other ones are filling at like 50 to 60%. Somebody in Discord won 400 last night. A bunch of guys are picking spots off here and there. But Harden at a 1.2x multiplier is just comical. Harden, Tatum, and Jokic are my highest projected guys. If you're looking for guys with a high multiplier who have some upside, 1.55x on Marcus Smart looks good. And then you still have like all these other guys like a Covington, a Campaign, a Fournier. If you wanted to throw things on, I don't think you have to, though. I think you could get away with playing and getting different by playing some studs with one random or two randoms based on how many guys are not in there. Any love for Kuzma? No, I don't like him at all. I like the unders on everything on him. But yeah, if you want to play on SuperDraft, there's a link down below and you can get into those contests. Basically, given the free money, that link will get you, I believe, $25 when you sign up. You might have to use the code SAL. Any lock plays today? No. Because there's enough value. Gasol, Pritchard, Caruso, Robert Covington, none of them look insanely good. Like, Pritchard looks the best, but there's obviously flaws there. You can't lock him. And there's literally like 8 pay-up guys who all look good, right? They all fucking look good today. So, no locks. You need Harden to cash today for your information? No, I don't think you do. Any love for Claxton? No. What's up, Sal? How you feel about Michael Porter Jr.? Man, realizing playoffs are a different beast. No, he realized playoffs are a different beast last year when he forgot. He didn't forget, but his coach forgot that he forgot how to play basketball and he couldn't stay in the game. So, yeah, Michael Porter Jr., who was one of the better shooters in the league this year during the regular season, is, some might say, choking. It's not even his first playoffs, but it's his first playoffs with, fans and not in a bubble. But yeah, Michael Porter Jr., the plus side for Michael Porter Jr. is that he's actually playing minutes, and he just has to with no Barton out there, right? No Murray. So 37, 33, 33, and 23 minutes last game, obviously the blowout. Not playing great. 38%, 45%, 33%. From 3, decent, but Michael Porter Jr. is still too cheap. He's back down to where he was when he started the series at $7,000. I think you can play Michael Porter Jr. today, but it's like what I said earlier. At $7,000, if you're the last guy into my lineup, I'll play you, because right next to your price point is the different position, of course, but the use of Nurkic's, the DeAndre Aytons that I would much rather get to. The CJ McCollum is not that far off right now, right? Even Chris Paul is cheaper now. Your projection on Booker and CJ. McCollum, 39.7 fantasy points. Booker, 40.76. Do you like Crowder or Rocco as the last piece? Rocco more. I took out Smart on my single entry GBP to fit KD. Was that the right move? And yes, Pritchard is in that lineup. Taking out Smart to fit KD is obviously a better move, but who did you take out? I don't understand what you're saying there. You obviously didn't 1-for-1 replace Smart for KD. That's a massive price difference. Another big Powell day today. Decent play. Load the bus. Go Caruso. LOL. What about Marcus Howard at $3,000 flat on DK? A big old no for me. I got Marcus Howard today for 18 minutes of play, and he's only at 13.6 fantasy points. Big old no. Can you win fading Nets? I feel no. Fading all of them? Yeah, I feel no as well, because they're just a fucking insane offense. There's really not much defense left on the bone out there in Boston right now. They're going to play at an insane pace. What is their total right now? They opened as a 122.25 team implied total. Nobody else is, only one team's within 10 of that, and it's Denver, and they're 9 points away. So fading the net, every single net player today feels like a bad idea, which is why, yet again, I kind of like the start of KD and Tatum. It's worked out literally like the last 2 games, which if it was highly owned, I'd get away from it. Tatum's going to be highly owned. KD's going to be like 20% owned today. Why is Griffin so low on prize picks? Griffin did not play as many minutes in that last game. Why is he so low on prize picks today? I see why. I think it's a little bit too low, though. He didn't play as many minutes in that last game, just 18 minutes of play. There's a couple of reasons why that happens, right? Tristan Thompson and Blake Griffin just weren't the pieces for that game, for that track meet of a 141-126 game. Those guys aren't staying on the court. So, yeah, I think you see closer to like 20, 22 minutes for Blake Griffin than 24, 26. But even in 20 or 22, 13.5 points is a little bit low. Like in that last game, he had 18 minutes, scored 6 points. That's not going to happen again, right? I mean, the games before that, 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes, 21, 20 minutes, 14.5. All those are clearly over. So, yeah, I think Griffin's good for 20 minutes. I think the over looks nice there. Jokic over 3.5 assists prop today for you. Yeah, the crazy thing is that there's just no shooters that Jokic's assists are going down right now. Over 3.5 assists? Oh, 5.5. You corrected. I was going to say, yeah, over 5.5 I like. I like the over 5.5 on Jokic. I think that's one of the better assist props out there. Probably, I mean, that might be the best assist prop. I'll continue to say Evan Fournier's over 2.5 assists is good, but he just keeps playing like shit, so I don't know how much more we should say that. But yeah. Harden and Jokic top studs today. I mean, yeah, they're going to look like that. The ownership is going to follow it. Jokic's positionality makes it tough. So, like, if you're saying just projection-wise, I would tell you no. I would say Jokic, yes. Like, Jokic is my highest projected stud. Harden's number 4. Harden's fine, but he's not that great today compared to everybody else. Like, over Harden today, I would take Jokic, Tatum, Durant, Lillard, LeBron. Yeah. Take those guys. Minutes for Claxton today. Yeah, we'll pull them up right now. The minutes for Boston are on this, or Brooklyn are on the screen. I got Claxton today at 12 minutes to play. I wouldn't be shocked if he played 14 or 15, but the way that these games are playing out, it's clearly a track meet. There's nobody to play defense left on really Boston for the most part. There wasn't anybody to play defense for the most part, even though game 1 they looked decent. Wasn't really anybody to play defense for the most part in Brooklyn ever. Gasol or Caruso? Gasol. Sal, do you like Payne and Covington on Prize Picks? Yeah, I took Covington over 22 this morning. What is Payne at now? I assume you're meaning fantasy points. Payne's over-unders at 23.5. I got Payne at 26.5. Payne, I would lean it, but it's not enough for me to really want to get there just because his minutes aren't as locked in, especially if there's any chance Paul is getting somewhat healthier, which I don't know how much truth there is to that, if any. But Covington, I took him at 22.5 this morning. Covington is now at 23.5. I have him for 20. Yeah. If you're taking Covington or Payne right now, you're getting the worst numbers on them because this morning they were lower. So that's what I'll say on that. I liked Covington this morning. I wouldn't place the bet at 23.5 now. Want a ticket for a 555? Any tips for high stakes contests? Yeah, just play tickets in there unless you feel really confident in your skill set because all those dudes in there are motherfucking dogs. They're putting up their real 555s and probably maxing them out. How many people are in that contest? How big is the size? It doesn't matter what the high stakes is. Like, it doesn't matter the stakes. It matters to how many people are in the contest. If you're playing in a $1 contest, the strategy will be the same depending on the how many people are in it. Obviously, the ownership is going to be different in higher stakes. It's going to be sharper, but we're referring to that sharper ownership here anyways. Hey, Sal, how do you feel about the Brooklyn guys? I like them a lot. Yeah, give me KD today as yet again a leverage piece. Like him a lot. KD and Tatum feels like a great combo to start your lineup. So it's Harden, completely fine. Joe Harris, fine price point, nothing crazy there. Kyrie gets in a player pool, not an insane value. But KD and Harden in that order for me. Jabari or Millsap? I'll take Jabari. I'll take a flyer there. I know there's a lot of guys today, but CJ still looks like a solid option off of Lillard. He'll probably play 40 minutes if the game stays close. Yeah, the games have stayed close, and he's only played 38. But I mean, I agree. Like pivotal game, you should start to see him play some minutes. But I don't think you're. I mean, if you're saying like pivot off of Lillard for ownership, I don't think you're missing out too much. Like CJ and Lillard probably have similar ownership today in most contests. Obviously, the price point's lower, which yeah, I agree. CJ's a yes for me. Is Langford a punk play? Yeah, I would not be playing Langford. I mean, Langford averages 0.55 fantasy points per minute. I don't think he's going to all of a sudden come out of that. Even if you told me Langford was going to play 30 minutes today, I mean, I would, if he was low on, I would say, okay, let's take the flyer. But in 30 minutes of play today, Langford would barely crack 16 fantasy points for me. Bad. And he's not going to play 30 minutes today. He just can't. Did your top plays change? The top 6 didn't, but now that we have some ownership, I mean, my top, I would say the way that I'm approaching the slate, obviously now with ownership is, I'm going with Tatum, Bron, Pritchard, and Gasol. Ooh, you're going double values. Okay. Caruso and Jokic are Smart and Nurkic today. I'll take Smart and Nurkic. Thoughts on Monty Morris? He's a yes for me. He's 1 of 2 yeses from Denver, him and Nikola Jokic. You have to hope he closes the game. That's the issue. It's definitely not a lock that he closes the game, but the ownership will reflect that. Smart, under 37 fantasy points today. Somebody just said is a prop. I assume they're taking, unless it's a question without a question mark. I have Smart at 34.5, so I like the under there. Yeah, taking unders this late is the move. If you're taking overs right now, like a half hour before the game starts, is tough because that's you're getting the worst line of the day on overs because everybody bets the overs. If you're taking unders right now, there's a chance you're getting the best line of the day, right? But odds are if you're taking overs today, you're way closer to getting the worst line of the day. And what does that mean? Well, this morning, just look at some of the ones we looked at. Robert Covington was at 22 this morning. Now he's at 23.5. You're getting the worst line of the day if you want the over, right? Because more people are betting it, and for the most part, people bet overs. What's up, Sal? How are things? Says Mitch. Mitch, things are well. Things are doing well. Thank you. Got a video tomorrow about tomorrow releasing NFL player who's going top 5 overall in best ball ADP right now. Top 5 overall, who I think there's a case to be made, finishes top 10 outside of his own position, let alone overall. Bobo, a taco faller, should I just quit DFS? Yeah, quit DFS for sure. Who's your favorite leverage play at the moment? The pieces are all over the place. Like, there's not one guy that stands out. The pieces are just all over the place. I want to say Dennis Schroeder at 15% is somebody that in single entries he seems 15, 17, 19% is where I'm seeing him at. So let's call it 16, 17% is where I'm like leaning because that's a nice price point to where you could still play the studs you want. The values are obvious. But I mean, Marc Gasol, Peyton Pritchard don't seem to be picking up as much ownership right now. Both below probably 20%. They're leverage pieces, but they're leverage pieces from a let you fit other guys into your lineup. So it kind of depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for the leverage piece that wins you it today, like Marc Gasol, Peyton Pritchard, they're not going out there and dropping 30, 40, 50 points and winning it for you today, right? But the guy who can be a leverage piece that actually wins you the day today, and we're talking guys like below 20%, I think it would be, if there's one guy, I think it would be Dennis Schroeder. I mean, why didn't you say Kevin Durant or Kyrie? Well, they're picking up ownership. They're not leverage plays. Durant's the lowest one of all the studs, but he's still picking up ownership. Now, if you want to tell me guys that I think can just obliterate the slate in our leverages, yet again, insert Kevin Durant's name there. McCollum's kind of in that category, but insert Durant's name there for a guy who will be 20% owned today and great chance of being in the winning lineup compared to the guys who are 30, 40% owned today. But Dennis Schroeder's a very interesting cat today. He's going to have a lot of open threes. Does he, one, take them or go off the dribble and try and get to the rim, which is probably a better move for him? And 2, does he make them? Sal, do you have a promo code for PrizePicks getting started today? Says Braden. Braden, yes, we do. Promo code SAL. There's a link in the description, but use the code SAL. Any money you put in, and for other people watching this, by the way, so natural plug here, PrizePicks sponsors the show. Any money you put in, they'll double it up to $100 in your first deposit. If you use the code SAL, the link in the description below will also help you get there. So, yeah, if you want to try out PrizePicks, if you're itching to play over-unders on props, they're smaller slates. Maybe you don't like to get as much action down like myself on smaller NBA slates. I mean, anything below like 6 games, I start reducing my action. 2 games, playing like 15, 10% of what I normally do. 3 games, you get a little bit more in there. There's a little bit more leverage plays. But, yeah, if you want to spot, you don't have to reduce your action. Player props. You're just going for individual players, right? You don't have to worry about the entire lineup and what the ownership is. Individual players. So, yeah, use that code SAL. Check it out. I highly encourage you to check it out. They got some really cool offers. They have a 100% like risk-free bet on WNBA today, which is interesting. What do you think about Joe Harris? The price point's fair. I like him more in the prop streets. Joe Harris is over. We took 21 fantasy points this morning. I got him around 26 fantasy points. He's obviously very volatile. The ownership on Joe Harris today will be relatively low. So from that standpoint, low ownership, volatile player who just projects out as fine. Like he just looks absolutely fine today. His price point is correct. There's not much value on that price point, but as a volatile player, things can go well. But he's just as vanilla as it gets today for me. Just not much there. If AD plays, should we play him at low ownership? If AD was to play today, no. I mean, the injury that AD has is clearly going to affect him. Now, can they shoot him up with a lot of shots? Maybe. But from everything that I'm seeing, AD is in no condition to play today. Unless he is very, very sedated. You don't think LeBron will get a triple-double since AD is out? Nobody said he won't get a triple-double. But I would not be projecting a triple-double for LeBron James. Look, a triple-double for LeBron James means his teammates have to make shots, right? To get 10-plus assists, your teammates have to make shots. I'm not doubting that they don't make shots. But there's a very interesting balance for LeBron James today of dominating and getting to the basket and trying to score 40 points on your own and trying to keep your teammates involved and have them score. One of those things is hard, scoring 40-plus points. But that is the avenue for them today. Probably the best avenue is for LeBron to dish it to the basket, score 37, 38, and then kick it out. You need LeBron's teammates. And we talked about it earlier. The prop today on LeBron's assists is like 8.5. I don't feel comfortable about that. Like either way. The under looks like the better option, but you're hoping that KCP doesn't make 4 threes today. And that's just not like a place that I want to put my bets on. And not just KCP, of course, any of those guys. But triple-double, I would not bet a triple-double tonight. Could I see LeBron scoring 37, 12 rebounds, and 7 assists? Yeah, but that's not a triple-double. So me saying I don't think he has a triple-double tonight, I think it's very much so a possibility for sure. High percentage and no AD out there. But it's not something I'm putting my money behind tonight because I think LeBron can have a fantastic game. Doesn't mean he has to have 10-plus assists, right? And the assists are the thing. He probably gets the rebounds. He clearly gets the points tonight if he's healthy. All right, gang, I'm going to bounce. A little bit of a shorter stream, just 50 minutes or so, but get your final questions in. If you want to leave a super chat, you can. If you really want to prioritize your question, you can. I'm just going to kind of skim through these and try and answer some. Aaron Rodgers. Of course, I'm a Packers fan. It's got to be Aaron Rodgers. If you're not already, like and subscribe to the channel. If you're not already, for whatever reason, if you're not on Patreon right now, I mean, we got all of June, most of July for NBA content going out there in terms of projections, tools, the optimizer, the Discord access, top plays, ranks, player pools, obviously ownership, projections, all that type of stuff for a bunch of other sports, MMA, MLB, the lineup optimizers for MMA and PGA. And then we get a very, very quicker than you think. We're in June, July, August. August is the month of the NFL preseason. And oh, baby, if you're not tuning into this channel, then you done. You done. Camping, Morris or Payne? Payne. Thoughts on Crowder? I'm not really there. Can't wait for NFL style. Want to do a head-to-head pause. Oh, man, pause. Can't wait for NFL either. You like Crowder today? Not really. Your projection on Booker and CJ? Yeah, we answered that one earlier. But I got Booker around 40.7 and CJ around 37 and change. Tayshawn donates a $1 super chat. He says, I know you had Harris as over on Price Picks, but do you think you trust him as a DK play? I have $5,400 left, either shooting guard or small forward. I already have Monty Morris. Any suggestions? I can't play Covington and power forward. So you have $5,400 left. You can't play Covington. You already have Monty Morris. Let's see. I would go Andre Drummond. Oh, you have to put in shooting guard or small forward. Okay. Shooting guard or small forward, my answer would be Joe Harris. Yep. Answer's Joe Harris there. If you can't go Joe Harris, I don't think is campaign shooting guard eligible. Campaign would be my second option of shooting guard eligible, but Joe Harris. All right, gang. I'm about to bounce. Monty Morris in play? Yes, he is. Durant or they flop today? I'll go Durant. Thanks, Al. You rock as well. Yo, football season guy. Here, new format looks cool. How you been doing it on NBA season? We've been doing well. Football season guy, how you doing? Yeah, if you haven't noticed, we put out a football video yesterday, today. We got one scheduled to go out tomorrow, Thursday, Friday. We're going to be doing football videos during the week. I'm trying to figure out the schedule because I don't want to put too many, like 3 pieces of content a day messes up the YouTube algorithm. So the NBA video in the morning, NFL in the afternoon, and live stream later in the day for NBA, I think it's too much. Like, I think that NFL video in the middle gets sandwiched. People watch the morning video, and then the stream comes on, and it basically, YouTube kind of doesn't promote that one. That's an issue because I'm spending a lot more time on those ones, trying to make them nice. So moving forward for the final month of the NBA season, especially as there's only like 2 games a day going on and some days no games, I'm going to have to either ditch the morning video or the stream. Which one do you guys like more? You like the morning video or the stream? I'm not 100% sold on this concept yet, but probably heading into July, like the NBA Finals just showdown slates, I'm not doing 2 videos a day. Alrighty, gang, we're going to bounce. If there's any super chats out there, you can throw them in right now. Pritchard or Monty? I'll take Pritchard. Jokic over 30 fantasy points today? Yeah, over 30 real life points is no bet for me. McCollum or Ayton in utility? I'll take Ayton. Alrighty, gang, peace out. If you want to get any of your other questions answered, you can reach out. You can sign up for Patreon, the Discord access. Everybody gets access to it. Ditch the morning videos. The streams rock. Yeah, the streams are great, but they're very obviously time sensitive. Like, some people can't tune into these streams. They're at work. They're hanging out with their family. They've got obligations, right? That's the only issue with the streams is I think they're better formats, longer form. We get to obviously go more in depth, but it doesn't work for everybody. I mean, right now we have 300 people watching live. The morning videos, 2,000 people watch them, so that's your issue. I like being able to ask questions. I agree. I do like the stream more. Maybe we can – I wish we had 2 channels. I wish I can just have an NBA channel and the one that we have now for everything else. All right, cool. Stream. Everybody seems to like the stream. I think we'll keep that. I'm not 100% sold on knocking out the morning video yet. It won't happen this week. But moving forward into the next round of the playoffs when there's 2 games on a day, we might do that. Just to not bury the NFL ones because putting a lot of work into those. I don't want to lose those. All right, everybody. Peace out. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to go find some food. I'm going to go find it. I'm going to go bum some food off some peeps. All righty. Enjoy your day. Like and subscribe, too, before you go. Why not? Peace.